Adrianna Hutto case, a tragic tale of childhood and controversial justice. The Adrianna Hutto case is one of the most controversial and tragic, involving suspicions of child abuse, legal issues, and the use of child testimony in court. Below, the case is detailed in several parts, covering the main events, the investigation, the trial, and the repercussions. The life of Adrianna Hutto. Adrianna Elaine Hutto was a 7-year-old girl who lived in the small town of Esto, Florida, with her mother, Amanda Lewis, and her younger brother, A.J. Described by acquaintances as a happy and lively child, Adrianna was always playing and was affectionate with her family. The life of Adrianna and her family seemed ordinary until the tragic afternoon of August 8, 2005. That would change everything. The drowning and the 911 call. On the afternoon of August 8, 2005, Amanda Lewis called 911 in a panic, claiming that her daughter had fallen into the pool and was drowning. In the call, Amanda reported that she had tried to revive her daughter, but Adrianna was unconscious. When paramedics arrived, Adrianna was transported to the hospital, but she succumbed and was pronounced dead later that day. The initial investigation. Initially, Adrianna's death was ruled a tragic drowning accident. Medical records and Amanda's account indicated that the drowning occurred while her mother was busy with household chores and the girl was alone in the pool. At first, authorities did not suspect foul play, and the case appeared to be a fatal accident. A few days after Adrianna's death, her younger brother, A.J., who was only 5 at the time, began making disturbing statements. A.J. reported to social workers that he had seen his mother, Amanda, hold Adrianna underwater as a form of punishment for allegedly dirtying a mirror. Authorities re-evaluated the case, now suspecting that Adrianna's death could have been a homicide. Reopening the case and police action. In light of A.J.'s statements, the police decided to reopen the case, now considering it as a possible crime. The family's home was searched for signs of abuse or signs of a troubled family dynamic. The police also investigated Amanda's family history, trying to find any evidence that could indicate a pattern of abusive behavior. Amanda Lewis's arrest. Amanda Lewis was arrested on charges of premeditated murder and child abuse. During questioning, Amanda denied any involvement in her daughter's death, maintaining that it was a tragic accident. Amanda's arrest caused great commotion in the city of Esto, dividing public opinion over her guilt or innocence. The trial, child testimony, and circumstantial evidence. Amanda Lewis's trial began in 2007, with A.J. as the prosecution's star witness. A.J. testified in court, repeating what he had told social workers, that he had seen his mother holding Adrianna underwater. Amanda's defense argued that the testimony of A.J., a 5-year-old child, was insufficient to support a murder charge, suggesting that he may have misinterpreted what he saw. The court also examined a possible motive. Amanda had punished Adrianna for misbehaving, although there was no direct evidence of prior abuse. In addition, physical evidence was found, marks and bruises on Adrianna's body that corroborated the accounts of physical abuse. Testimony from neighbors and family members who observed changes in Amanda's behavior toward Adrianna prior to the incident also contributed to the trial. Amanda's inconsistent statements, discrepancies between Amanda's initial account of the drowning and the evidence found at the scene. The prosecution presented circumstantial evidence and portrayed Amanda as a harsh mother, suggesting that she may have become frustrated with her daughter and lost control. Verdict and sentencing. Based largely on A.J.'s testimony, Amanda Lewis was found guilty of first-degree murder and aggravated child abuse. Despite the defense's argument that Adrianna's death was an accident and that A.J. had been influenced by others, The jury found the boy's testimony compelling enough to convict Amanda Lewis of first-degree murder. It is important to note that a child's testimony, especially in such complex and traumatic cases, is always treated with caution and subject to scrutiny. However, in AJ's case, prosecutors were able to demonstrate the consistency of his account and the absence of evidence that he had been influenced or coerced into giving false testimony. She was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The decision divided opinion. Some firmly believed in Amanda's guilt, while others questioned the validity of a conviction based on the testimony of a child. Public repercussion and controversy. The case generated intense debate about the validity of using child testimony in serious criminal cases. Many argued that AJ, being very young, could have been influenced by leading questions or by the trauma of the situation. Child psychology experts also questioned the ability of a 5-year-old to understand the seriousness and implications of her testimony. The story was widely reported in the media, and the case became the subject of documentaries and TV shows. The debate on justice and judicial processes. The case of Adrianna Hutto has become a frequently cited example in debates about how the justice system handles the testimony of children. Critics of the trial argue that there was a failure to convict Amanda without conclusive physical evidence. The question of to what extent a child's testimony can be used as central evidence in a trial is still debated in legal circles. Possible appeals and case review. Over the years, human rights lawyers and Amanda's advocates have sought ways to reopen the case, requesting new trials or reviewing the evidence. Appeals have been filed, but Amanda's conviction remains in effect to this day. Legacy and memory of Adrianna Hutto. Despite the controversy, the case is remembered as a tragedy that resulted in the loss of a young life. Adrianna Hutto is remembered as a smiling little girl whose life was cut short too soon. Her case has left a lasting impact on the justice system, especially the use of child testimony, and continues to be discussed in law schools and public forums. The Adrianna Hutto case continues to be a reference point for discussions about child abuse, the value of child testimony, and the reliability of police investigations. At the same time, the story still raises questions about the search for truth and the challenges the justice system faces when dealing with sensitive cases. Current situation. Amanda Lewis, convicted of murdering her daughter, Adrianna Hutto, is currently serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole. After being tried and found guilty in 2008, she was transferred to the Annex Unit at the Lowell Corrections Center in Florida. Since then, Amanda has made several unsuccessful appeals to overturn her conviction. A.J. Hutto, Adrianna Hutto's brother, and a key witness in Amanda Lewis's trial, has had a life marked by the trauma of the case. After his mother's conviction, A.J. was initially placed in the care of his grandparents, but was later adopted by another family to provide him with a more stable and private life. Today, A.J. is approximately 22 years old and has chosen to remain out of the spotlight. Reports suggest that he may be studying at a university and focusing on building a positive future away from the public eye. He lives a private life, seeking privacy after a past that received extensive media exposure and was intensely discussed on true crime shows, such as the 2020 episode What A.J. Saw, which analyzed the impact of the case on his life.